Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Save the Bay podcast. My name is Matthew Vieira. I'm the Save the Bay social media and marketing manager. As always, I'm here with Adam.
Good morning, everyone.
Adam, how you doing?
I'm doing great today. How about you, Matt?
Good. So, another month, another theme. What is this month's theme at the Exploration Center?
All right. So this month's theme next month's theme is going to be Crustacean Nation.
Okay. So, what is a crustacean?
So a crustacean is, an invertebrate animal, and the way that they deal with being an invertebrate, meaning they got no backbone, is by having an exoskeleton. So a crustacean is an animal with an exoskeleton and jointed appendages. That's basically the broad description of a crustacean.
Okay.
Yeah. The reason we're bringing them up is that they're highly overlooked by people a lot of times. They tend to be kind of scary looking as well. So for a lot of those reasons, people tend to avoid them. But they actually end up being some of the most amazing, unique creatures on our planet because they're just so very different from us, and I find them intriguing.
What type of crustaceans do we have here at the Exploration Center?
Well, I'll do my best to describe many of them, but there's a ton, so I'm not going to get to all of them. So when you guys come here, you'll be able to find more. But I think some of the more interesting ones, we have right now a yellow lobster.
Okay.
All right, so the yellow lobster, lobsters are a very important seafood in Rhode Island. It's a big industry still in the Bay, and as long as we keep their populations healthy, they'll be around. But we managed to find a really unique yellow lobster. It was actually found by a local fisherman. He goes by Grampy Brahmin, and he does lobster fishing.
Name.
Yeah, he's
name.
great. Yeah, he comes in with his grandkids all the time. That's why he's Grampy,
Okay.
And he realized, he catches interesting things. He wants to bring it to us sometimes. So we have this beautiful yellow lobster he donated to us. They're very rare. If you went out and caught right now today 30 million lobsters out in the ocean, you'd be lucky to find one that's this coloration. So they're about 1 in 30 million is how rare they are.
That is very interesting.
Yeah, so kind of a bright yellow shell.
Now, over the years, we've had a few interesting colored lobsters. We've had a calico, which is kind of like an orange-yellow.
Yeah, like a mottled kind of black, orange-yellow, yep.
We've had blue lobsters.
Yep.
We've had, and everything in between.
Yeah.
What makes, all lobsters, are generally the same species.
Right.
What makes them have a different colored exoskeleton?
Yeah, that's a great question. A lot of people don't realize that. They think it's a different species or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So a normal, healthy lobster has a genetic code that gives their shell color certain pigments. So a healthy lobster is going to have things like browns and reds and blacks and blues and oranges and white. All those different colors will actually make up a normal, healthy pigment in a lobster. And kind of like albinoism in people, they have a genetic defect where they can only produce certain colors. So this yellow lobster here can only produce the yellow color pigment in its shell. It does have some black coloration and a little bit of white, but the white is just an absence of pigment. And that's pretty much what makes up the yellow lobster.
And I know, forgive me if I'm wrong, lobsters molt, correct?
Correct, yeah.
So when they molt, does that change at all, or is that still the same? They'll still be a yellow lobster when it molts.
Right.
And for those of you who don't know what molting is, do you want to...
Yeah. So all crustaceans molt. Molting is how they grow. So every time a crustacean molts, it sheds its old shell, kind of like a snake sheds its skin. Mm-hmm. And every time it does that, it actually grows about 25% bigger on average.
Wow.
Which is pretty amazing. They actually can grow pretty fast, which is pretty neat, I think. So a yellow lobster, when it molts, it does not lose its color at all if it's a true yellow lobster. Sometimes you get lobsters that have very interesting pigmentation, but then they molt and they're a totally different color. That can be due to diet. So if, let's say I take a normal healthy lobster and I feed them a ton of squid, which is high in iodine, it'll actually get a blue coloration in its skin, in its shell. But if then before its next molt, I feed it tons and tons of shellfish, things like clams, which is high in phytoplankton and zooplankton, things like that, it can actually turn it more orange.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And so what other residents do we have here at Crustacean Nation?
Yeah, so again, and one of the more misunderstood and unique ones is actually one called a mantis shrimp.
Mantis shrimp.
Yeah.
Love the mantis shrimp.
They're actually one of my favorites. And, over the years, they've become more and more popular because sometimes on the internet and stuff, you'll get fun cartoons about them, that kind of thing. But the mantis shrimp, there's a few kinds around the world. They either have these, like, boxing gloves where they can, like, punch, or their other technique for survival are, like, these little claws that they spear with, and they look like little spears. The one in Narragansett Bay is the kinds that have the spearing. Even the ones with the punching gloves, they actually can hit with the same force as a .22 caliber pistol.
That is amazing.
They can crack open glass. They can do this thing, even the one we have around here, where they hit so fast that it does something called cavitation, where it creates a little, it superheats the water, creates a little bubble in the water, and actually a pocket of gas floats up.
That's amazing. So it essentially boils water behind its
and
punch.
turns it into a gas. Yeah, just hitting right in the water.
It absolutely is a fascinating creature. And is there a reason why certain regions have the spear kind of the mantis shrimp and others have the club?
That we're just looking at evolution at that point. Different adaptations for different habitats and diets.
Sure.
So around here, the mantis shrimp are eating a lot of things that it can spear. So little fish, things might be worms, things like that. And then the ones with the clubs, they're going to spend more time cracking open crabs, cracking open hermit crabs, shellfish, that kind of thing.
Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah. And they have, I know, because I've done some extensive research on the mantis shrimp because of what a fan I am of the mantis shrimp. They have, they can see colors that humans cannot see. They just have, if you can imagine a color you can't see, I mean, they can see.
I love saying that to guests, like imagine a color you can't see. It's just mind-blowing.
And they can see like 6 more than that or something like that.
Yeah, so actually I wrote down the numbers here so I wouldn't forget. So humans, we have one lens in our eye that we can see with.
Yep.
Mantis shrimp have 3 lenses, to put that into perspective. Okay. So they have twice as many, 2 more lenses than we do. Human vision is made up of 3 colors: red, blue, and green, and that gives us all the different colors that we see. Mantis shrimp vision is made up of 16 different pigments that they can witness, including ultraviolet light, which I think is just like out of control.
That's wild.
Yeah. They can actually detect 10 times more colors than humans can.
That's
10 times. People, when we look into the world, it's a beautiful place.
Colorful, very
amazing, and just times that by 10. No big deal.
That's wild. That is absolutely wild. So the mantis shrimp is here. What else?
So then we have a bunch of hands-on exhibits here where you can handle the safe crustaceans. So like a lobster and a mantis shrimp, not the easiest ones to handle.
You wouldn't suggest holding a mantis shrimp?
No. Fishermen around here actually call them thumb splitters. Even the little teeny tiny ones, when they're little babies, they can still cut you.
Really?
But things that you can handle here, we have a few different species of hermit crabs, which are wonderful. We get long-clawed hermit crabs, broad-clawed hermit crabs that live in the bay, spider crabs here that you can handle as well. And then we have other things too. Like horseshoe crabs, which aren't actually crabs. They're more closely related to spiders, ticks, and scorpions. Yeah,
that's interesting. I did not know that.
Which is really neat. And we have those guys, too. You can handle them. They've been on the planet 360 million years.
That's absolutely fascinating. Yeah. Fascinating fact about the horseshoe crab. Yeah. That's wild.
They're really neat, and we just have great variety here for you guys to come and check out.
Yeah, that's really awesome. So now, we have those crustaceans here.
Yeah.
What other types of crustaceans are in Narragansett Bay and in this region?
Yeah. So, another great couple ones to really bring of note, which has actually been a problem environmentally over the past, actually, about 150 to 200 years, as crazy as that sounds, are different species of invasive crustaceans.
Okay.
So one invasive that started showing up about 150 years ago, 200 years ago, when the colonists started showing up and really populating the areas around here, bringing big boats and shipping barges, that kind of thing, is the European green crab. And we actually have those guys here. You could check them out, too, and learn a little bit about them. But that is an invasive species of crab, made its way over here from Europe. It's taken over many rocky shorelines. It even lives in salt marshes, sandy bottom habitat as well. And it really kicks out a lot of the native crustaceans and kind of puts more stress on the habitat.
So that's what you mean by invasive?
Yep.
Them kicking out the normal inhabitants and putting stress on the ecosystem.
Yep. And the way an invasive gets somewhere is caused by people. That's the definition.
Okay.
People bring them there, and then they do the things that you mentioned there. And then we actually had another one that started showing up about, I'm getting old now, probably about 20, 25 years ago, something like that. I actually kind of remember them showing up. but the Japanese shore crab, the Asian shore crab.
Okay,
and
I've heard of these guys.
Yeah, there's tons of them at our base center in Providence. If you guys are ever up there, you can go on the rocky shoreline. You can check them out basically any day at low tide and see what they look like. But those guys, another invasive, started coming over when we started doing much more trade with Asian countries and Japan and stuff. And those guys actually got sucked into the ballast water of ships carrying cargo to balance out their load. And then when they got to Narragansett Bay, they unloaded that water, which then introduced these Asian shore crabs to our environment, and again caused those same invasive problems.
So now with the large shipping, the container ships, and the ballast water.
Yeah.
Back like 200 years when the green crabs started coming over. I mean, people weren't putting them in their pockets and bringing them over. Were they just kind of like stowaways on boats?
Yeah, kind of stowaways. Like a boat might be leaky, a little bit, get in there.
Sure.
Could have hung on to the outside if there was some good growth colonies of like barnacles for it to live in. Could have came over as plankton. All those different reasons. Who knows what kind of seafood they might have brought with them. Yeah. All those kinds of things could have brought it over even at that point in our history.
So, I mean, by these invasive species coming in, they're essentially changing the ecosystem.
Yeah, changing it and putting stress on the things that have lived here for thousands of years before people were even around.
Very interesting.
Some millions of years.
Yeah. So at what point do the invasive species become the
basically the local ones here that are here? Yeah. So some people like to argue that it's like, how long are they here until we consider them native? But you know what? I like to always consider them invasive.
Yeah. We have Crustacean Nation at the Exploration Center. What else is happening around crustaceans besides coming to see the awesome yellow lobster and the horseshoe crabs and the mantis shrimp? Mm-hmm. What else is happening?
So, as always, we got our great touch tank exhibits going on. We have awesome crafts. You can come here and actually make a paper plate crab. So if you got any youngsters with you, we got great crafts. They're going to be set up all the time. We also do an awesome story time. And I think it's Krabby and Nabby is the name of the story we're doing. And it's interactive. They act it out with felt pieces, that kind of thing. But then we're also doing other science experiments. We're doing a really great ocean acidification climate change kind of experiment right now, which is tons of fun. You get to, play with chemicals and make colors and stuff like that, which is great.
Awesome.
We're learning about watersheds, all those things that kind of play into crustaceans' lives.
Awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Great. And so, along with the monthly theme, we also have this awesome, I keep saying it's a new program, but it's really not that new anymore.
It's getting close to a year. We're almost there.
Feeding Frenzy. So do you want to do a little recap on what Feeding Frenzy is?
Yeah, for sure. So it's been a great hit. It's been tons of fun. Basically, what you guys can do, you can either call here, or you can show up here, or you can go online and you could pre-register for this program. You come here from 5 to 6 p.m. The next date, what's the next date again?
It's September 15th from 5 to 6.
September 15th. That's the next one, people. So show up for that one. But what you could pretty much do, you get to go around with one of our aquarium biologists, and you get to feed all of the animals in the aquarium. It's when we're not open to the public, so the entire focus is just on the people who've registered. So you get basically a little class where you get to go around and feed just some crazy stuff. You get to watch a shark seed. You get to feed the striped bass. You get to feed the stargazer. You get to feed all these crustaceans that we got going on.
I was going to say, all the crustaceans need to eat too.
Watching a lobster eat's actually a fun thing. You can watch the mantis shrimp strike as long as he's behaving. Sometimes he's not that hungry, but usually he does pretty good. You can always check your luck and come check it out and see if you can witness the actual strike.
That is really cool. I would love to see that. So this program has been super popular. You need to pre-register online, savebay.org/aquarium. You can find the link there. We also have dates listed for October and November.
Yeah.
So if for some reason you get to this late and September is filled, we have October open, we have November open. Or if you want to go to all three, you can register for all three.
We have people doing that too, and thank you all who have been coming and doing that. That's wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, that's so great. It's been such a popular, and I think that's really cool. Yeah. It's been such a popular event, and great to see people enjoying it.
Yeah.
That's really great. So another thing happening, there's a lot of change going on right now at the EC. There's new tanks, there's new critters. We're also coming to the end, which I can't believe this. It's the end of summer.
I can't even believe it. How'd that happen?
I don't know.
It's been so much fun.
It's coming to the end of summer, and at the end of summer, every year, Labor Day, we switch to we call them our winter hours. Although it's not winter yet.
Yes.
Don't be alarmed. So starting on Labor Day, the weekend of Labor Day, we will only be open Friday through Sunday, 10 to 4?
Correct, yep.
Okay.
So after Labor Day, which I think is on a Monday this year,
Yes.
we're open every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 10 to 4. But up until then, still every day, 10 to 4. And then we'll also, after that, be open all Rhode Island public school vacations for the most part. If it's a school vacation day, just double-check that website to make sure it's one that we are open.
Absolutely. And the website, again, is savebay.org/aquarium. We will have all the school vacation dates up there. So you have until Labor Day to come down here during the week. We're open 7 days a week, 10 to 4.
Yep.
Come down and check out what's new at the Exploration Center. So, yeah.
Awesome.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
so,
we had a lot of good stuff to talk about this
Crustacean
time.
Nation. We talked about the mantis shrimp, the lobsters. We talked about invasive species. Is there anything new I kind of hinted at the tank, and I know we talked about it last time a little bit. What's happening with the Bay of the Future tank?
Okay, so the Bay of the Future tank, I can't remember if last time it was up and running or not, or we were just talking about it. Maybe.
I believe there was fish last time we were here.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
So it's up and running, right? Well, it is now. Come check it out. We have a bunch of those Gulf Stream orphans or tropical strays that have been growing and getting used to their brand new exhibit. You guys can come check that out. We even caught a brand new tropical stray that we've never seen before, too.
That's awesome.
It's the web burfish. It was actually found by a middle school student of ours. His name is Bryson, and he was out snorkeling, and he just found the little guy. Right now he's about the size of a quarter, and he's a type of pufferfish covered in spikes and beautiful coloration. So we're going to raise him up and give him a good home because once winter would have come, it would have been much too cold for him.
Well, that's great. Yeah. That is really awesome. And if you want to read more about that story, if you want more information, you can visit our blog. We actually have a blog post. Bryson's story about finding the web burfish. So you can go to tides-blog.blogspot.com. I'll put the link right below if you didn't follow that. But it's down in the description and up on the screen. Awesome. Really great. Yeah. Adam, thanks as always.
Of course, thank you, Matt.
Yep, and we will see all of you next month at the aquarium. We will officially be in our winter hours mode, but there will be no shortage of activities to do here at the Exploration Center and Aquarium on Easton's Beach in Newport.
Awesome.
And until next time, we'll talk to you guys later.
Thanks a lot.